The city of Calgary is experiencing an increase in crime and drug-related incidents, which is very disturbing for the residents. They do not feel safe and prefer not to walk the streets of the city at night. Even more disturbing is the apparent lack of consequences for the perpetrators of these crimes. The drug problem seems to be very serious, and the police, according to residents, should pay more attention to the incidents related to it.
How would you describe the overall perception of the crime rate in Calgary?
I would say the perception is lower than what it actually is. I would say it's worse than what is talked about.
Do you feel safe walking around Calgary?
I live downtown. I would say I do not. In the daytime, it's much better, but at the nighttime, definitely no.
I think overall, most people think that Calgary is a very safe city, and for the most part, it is. Now, when you walk around downtown, late at night, 2 a.m, you might think a little different. Even just in the past 3 months, I had to call the police twice from, crazy things that were going on. So it's not the greatest.
Speaking of the police, do you think they are working properly?
I think that everyone wants to see more police and to have police do a better job. I'd say they're doing the best they can with the resources they have and the red tape that they're stuck behind. The political structure in Canada that affects Calgary, to me, is the biggest concern that I have.
I'd say they do what they can. It's definitely difficult. It's way beyond my scope of what can be done for it.
In your opinion, what are the most pressing crime-related issues in the city?
I would say violence. It seems like there's quite a few random attacks on the street of Calgary. I would say drug-related crime is very, very, very common.
Drugs, yeah, I'd say mostly drugs.
Have you personally experienced or witnessed any crime incidents in Calgary?
Well, a friend of mine, her brother was killed in Calgary.
Definitely living downtown has showed me quite a few things. Near my apartment, lots of crime going on, so it's very frequent, it's very common.
I actually got attacked 3 years ago, New Year's Day, and I was downtown off 13th Ave, and I got jumped by some random guy that pulled over in his car and just, punched me in the face out of nowhere. So I got a scar, I got a bunch of stitches. I guess that's a pretty, serious crime when you think that you're safe walking around downtown and then you get jumped and attacked and you're bleeding all over the sidewalk. And when I talked about red tape with police, I didn't see the attack coming. I was looking down at my phone trying to call an Uber, and he came up and he uppercutted me. So I had no chance to respond. And when I looked up, I was very confused. I didn't understand what happened at the time. So I caught a photo of the person's car as he drove away. So I had his license plate, and the police were unable to arrest him or even question him based on the photograph that I took of his license plate. And so the police asked me to come in and do a lineup, like to see if I can spot him in a lineup to identify him as the criminal. But not many people realize this. Calgary doesn't do, and I think this is Canada, doesn't do in-person lineups anymore. Right? They have the name and the face and the address of the person because of the license plate, but they weren't able to bring him in person. So instead, they bring you these pieces of paper printed on crappy quality, paper from a regular printer of 10 different faces of people that look somewhat similar to that guy. But the paper that they're printing out is from photos that are over 6 months old. So you have 6 months old photos printed on regular crappy paper, and it's only the headshot. It's not the full body. You can't see how big they are, how tall or how short they are. These are really important things to remember. And so when I went to the lineup and I saw this paper instead, I said to the officer, this is crazy. There's no way that I'm going to be able to spot a person based on a crap paper and all the metrics are off. I need to see in person. And he said, no, that's Canadian policy. The system right now is heavily in favor of the criminal. It's very, very difficult to peg a criminal, to charge a criminal, to catch a criminal, to stop a criminal. And that means they keep doing crime. If criminals don't go punished, they cause more crime. And this is a big problem. So the red tape that police are stuck with right now, the biggest problem is preventing policemen from doing their job. And I think that's critical.
But eventually, did he get arrested?
No, he's running around punching whoever. Not that I'm aware of. If he got arrested, they didn't tell me. So he certainly didn't get arrested for my crime. The police made that very clear. There was not enough for them to arrest him based on him jumping me and punching me in the face and sending me to the hospital. That wasn't enough.
What measures do you think could be taken to improve the safety and security of residents in Calgary?
I think awareness. A lot of people don't understand how common it is for, all of this to be happening. Just speaking to people who even live just outside of downtown, they don't really understand the extent of it. So I think awareness is definitely very important.
Just to be more vigilant, be more careful, and don't be too flashy with what you have, like monetary or flashy certain things. And something I've noticed, I've seen a documentary of, don't be flashing your jewels or money on social media too often.
More restriction on drugs. It's getting pretty bad for drugs here in Calgary. So let's see more restrictions, more police worrying about drugs and not worrying about traffic tickets.